June is busting out all over, right? And I have elected that this month is dedicated to creativity. So I happen to know something about each and every one of you that you may not know about yourself, or maybe you do, but you've maybe let it collect a little dust. And I happen to know that you are a genius. You didn't come to this plane of existence just to get by or to make it through. You came here and you chose this to be the place where you would express yourself like no other. This has always been true of you. You just may have forgotten. So, me as your newly installed minister, it's time to get busy, okay? My personal spiritual vision is that I am a passionate, honest, loving man, dedicated to enrolling you in your vision. Do you have a vision? Let's start there. Because if you don't, you get to make one up. You get to decide why you're here. And you know, sometimes we think that it's some grand thing like, I'm going to make clean water for everyone in the universe to drink. And that's a wonderful thing. But maybe we start with drinking clean water ourselves. It can be as simple as starting there. Maybe providing clean water for your neighborhood. See, we think it's this big thing when it is a big thing, but maybe it starts with your own backyard. It starts with who and what we are right now. So, how do you find your hidden genius? How do you create a vision for yourself? Well, you may be really good at something right now, and that may be part of it, but what was it that you put on the back burner when you decided to go to college or start a family, and you said, I'll get to that later? Maybe it was an art thing, or it was performing, or something like that. That you said, well, I'll do that when I lose some weight, when I gain some weight, when I'm old enough, when I'm young enough, when I have a family, when my family's gone. We all have something that we were contracted and put here to do. And I'll be the first to admit that sometimes I've gotten off track. I have overslept, right? Have we overslept a little? I mean, it's okay to oversleep. I could have slept so good this morning, I tell you. I am exhausted from this my days are off are Friday and Saturday, and I have been working. I mean, takes a lot of energy to show up as God, doesn't it, in the world? But that's why we're here. We weren't here to play small and to just kind of shuffle through, although there are times that I do the shuffle. Little song and dance. You just want to get through it, right? There's some times that I do that. But there's some times that I have to show up with the 110% commitment that I know that I am. And it's not always comfortable. And it's not always pretty. It's not always convenient. Sometimes it is very inconvenient when I'm sleeping to hear that alarm go off. I mean, my snooze button is broken because I have oversnoozed. So I want to invite you to become a kid again. Watch little children play. Watch how they lose themselves in their imagination completely. I remember when my brother and I were kids, we used to play, he was really into Star Trek, and we would play Star Trek. And I'll tell you that there's a portion of my backyard that became the bridge of that starship. I mean, in our minds, it was, I always got to be the captain, and he was always Spock, because he was a little weird. But he had that mind, that Spock mind, And I was always trying to, control the universe. See how that went, yeah. I'm still trying to control the universe. Aren't we all little Captain Kirks trying to control the universe? Oh my God. What is play? What is playing? And I don't mean like playing a game or pickleball or bowling I mean really playing, being playful. It's the freedom of movement within a space, freedom from action or scope of activity to free your mind. There's two students looking at a flag waving, and the instructor said, "What's happening?" And one student said, "Well, the flag is moving." And the other student said, "The wind is moving." And the teacher said, "No, your mind is moving." Think about that when you see the wind blow the tree. Your mind is moving because it's all one. There's only one of us here. It is that power that we have all agreed upon to work and walk through this plane of existence. This is our space suit. We are in a spacesuit that has everything we need to get around this universe. It breathes oxygen. We go from place to place. We're wireless. We are our own wireless system, but we are hooked in umbilically. We have an umbilical cord, just like your cell phone. If it doesn't have a source, you don't have a signal. We've all been in the mountains where no connection. Oh, wow, that's a drag. What are we going to do in the mountains with no connection? Why are you even looking at your phone unless there's an emergency in the mountains? Okay, I just wanted to... Just saying. We need to really look at what our inner voices are telling us. Because my inner voice was telling me for so long that I was wrong, I was bad, you're doing it, you're not blending in, you shouldn't be here. Bad things. Isn't that what sometimes if we don't watch our mind chatter and we let it go, it tells us these untruths. And I don't know why, but the human condition defaults to negativity. At least mine does. If I don't watch what I'm thinking and saying and doing, I will fall into that pothole every time. So I had to pull that filter out, and I installed a new software program that changes everything to positive. You can walk down the street, and if you see dirt in the street, you can know that that is God's dirt. That is perfect dirt. It is beautiful in its dirtiness. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do, to be dirty. There's a quote from a movie, Uncorked, and the gentleman says, there comes a point in your life when you stop resisting life enough that music flies out of the dog do. I love that line. Because it makes sense. You know, there's sometimes we step in dog do. And it's not pretty. And it stinks. But when we can see the beauty of our messes and claim them as ours, that we did this, nobody did this to us, although it may appear that way sometimes. Once we own it, we can own our successes too and go, I did that. You know, it's so funny. We want to own our failures and not our successes. We are so incredibly creative. Right? We need to own it all. And once I read that in the textbook, you know, that it's all your deal, I was like, you don't know what happened to me. You don't know what they did to me. I threw that textbook across the room. What do you mean? It's my fault. It's nobody's fault. Life happens. And it brings exactly what's needed in every moment. And if we can see that and experience it to its full creativity, we get the lesson, exactly what's needed so that we can move forward, knowing a little bit more about ourselves, not punishing ourselves or being in a, blogging about it or having, going on Facebook and trying to get as many people to think the same way that we do. We're all different for a reason. God was creating the universe and said, I'm going to make 1 billion different forms out of myself, and I'm going to make them all different just to mess with them. Because we all come from one, become 1 billion different things, and then we're taught to come back to oneness. So we're constantly doing this, just like breath, in and out. And as long as we can get that, then we are in the creative cycle of the universe, understanding what is ours to do and not resisting life. We resist it. Resist not error. Fall into it and be part of the error and claim it as your own and make it a creative thing. I'm too old to be doing this. I can't draw. I'm no artist. This is silly. That older part of yourself says to you, oh, you're too old to be doing that. You're coloring outside the lines. What do you think you're doing? Change it. I am talented. You are talented. You are a creative genius. Not just, you can do art okay. You are a genius like nobody else. Because you are different, you have different skills that nobody else has. And when you find out what that is, and you start doing that like nobody else can, and you know who you are. I'm talking to you, because you know who you are. That frees you to be you, whatever that is. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody or yourself, it's why you're here. Can you say that with me? I am talented. I am talented. No, come on, like you mean it. I am talented. You are. You are. Good. Good for you. That's a good step. Take pride in your creations. Take pride. A good artist is never not making art. They have a couple projects going at the same time, because I know that when I'm doing art, even if it looks kind of funky, and I'm getting to the end of it, I start feeling depressed, because I know you can only put so much paint on a piece of paper, right? It's like this thick with bleh. Just start another piece of paper. Get a bigger piece of paper. Turn it over. Fold it up and make an airplane out of it. But continue to create. We need to have several projects going at a time. At least my OCD mind does. And it's like the children that have these conditions that we call, autistic, they're artistic. That's what they really are. They just haven't been given the right piece of paper to draw on. We think that, you should sit down and be quiet. Well, they didn't come here to sit down and be quiet. They came here to be who they are. Right? Right? Let's encourage all of us to be who we are. So there's some ways of doing this. Make a study of your creativity. When is your most creative time of the day? I'll tell you, mornings are not my best creative time, unless it's making a mess. Oh, I can break things and my kitchen, if I'm making breakfast in the morning, if I'm even up in the morning, I don't even know who made that mess. Who made that mess? But I made such a mess. I got up and I took a bowl out and it dropped on the kitchen floor. And it shattered. And it was like pudding and it was like everywhere. I mean, I didn't even know how it got inside of drawers and cupboards. I mean, how does it even get in there? I'm finding it weeks later. How did you get in there? But at first, my critical self was like, oh, you are so... And then I remembered, blessed. You are so creative. And all of a sudden, I was having fun with it. I got my camera out. I was like, oh, Look at that. That is, I did that. That's mine. That's mine. I'm going to sign my name right there. Because then it was fun. I was cleaning it up going, oh, this is so good. This is so good. Oh, yeah. But when we can smile upon our messes, because we make a mess in life, I was taught to color inside the lines. And I had a color inside the lines life. Don't attract attention to yourself. Don't. And I was taught that by very loving people that had been challenged because they couldn't color outside the lines, so they taught me not to. But I found all the fun is outside the lines. Freestyle outside the lines, man. Make your own lines. You know what? Make your own kind of music. There's ways to do this. You can mind map, where you just take a piece of paper and in the middle write what your goal is and circle it. And then around the outside, write a bunch of things that have to do with doing that and circle them and point arrows towards the middle. That's mind mapping. It's just brainstorming. Brainstorm. When was the last time you just made a mess and loved it and had paper mache under your fingernails? Oh, so uncomfortable. I love that. When was the last time you had mud between your toes? That's why we love going to the beach. We love walking on the beach in our bare feet because it's a mess. And God created this wonderful thing called a wave to come and wash it all off in just seconds. But we love that feeling, don't we? We love the sun on our bodies. It's just natural. Have you ever storyboarded? Where you make a story out of a project? It's so fun. And draw pictures. Get creative. I'm trying to stir up your creative juices, your genius, your fun. How do we exercise our creativity muscle? It's just like writing with your non-dominant hand. Try writing with your non-dominant hand for a while with a crayon. Get messy. Write your name in calligraphy with your non-dominant hand. It's fun. And then wear that name badge. This is me. I know, you can't tell what it is, but it's me. So, be creative when you feel the juices flowing. Keep with you a little pad of paper, or find out how to record your voice on your cell phone. Most have a little app and you can record yourself and just go, oh yeah, learn how to play Smoke on the Water on the bass. Little stuff like that. You just let yourself go a little bit. And don't try to be the parent to your inner child. We have all over-parented our inner childs, I'm telling you. And we've scolded them into submission. We need to let them out and play a little bit. Play a lot. Get dirty. You're the adult that can clean it up. You're most creative when you're a little groggy. I used to think I was more creative when I was drunk, but that's not the truth. It's not the truth. You only think that. Later you go, who made that mess? Oh, yeah. Oh, that was, oh. Don't go there. Don't go there. Exercise. Wearing yourself out and then being creative. Go take a 5-mile jog and come back and do art. And you're like, yeah, I'm like, whoo, I'm having a good time now. Because you want that energy to be expelled in some way. You need to wear yourself down a little bit. It's like your dog. When you just come home, their whole body's wagging, Give them something to do. Go out and play with them, and then teach them something. And they will be more able to understand because they won't have all that pent-up spontaneous energy. Or maybe it works the other way. Maybe you work them a while and then go run them. but find out what works for your inner doggy. Yeah, we all have an inner child and an inner pet, an inner mom and an inner dad and an inner minister, but let yours out, whatever you are. So, when we go to sleep, we pierce the veil of our creativity. Our minds, we have dreamed some crazy stuff, haven't we? If you've ever remembered even part of a dream and you're like, whoa, what? I don't even know how. I can't even talk about it because it's so weird. You can't even put in your own words what it is. Go with that. Take a little nap and wake up and be creative. And some of our best ideas come when we're sleeping. And unfortunately, we don't remember them. But there are links. There are ways to be creative. Contrary to what we may think, we are the most creative when we're not at our optimum mental state. When we're worn down, or when we're upset, or when we're tired, that's when we're our most creative. Use that time to go do something. Go to the art store and get yourself some toys. Get yourself some finger paints. Get yourself some clay. Do something that allows that creativity genius that you are out. Because if we don't, like I said on Friday, you're not here to die with your music inside of you. I don't want to get to the end of my life and go, I wish I would have played more. Right? I don't want to in the next lifetime go, well, I'm going to have to go back because I want to play again. I'm going to go back because I get to play again. And there's more that we need to know. Because there's always more to know. We are on an never-ending cycle of creativity. And you get to decorate your life any way you choose. And if somebody's telling you that it's wrong or that it's not, you shouldn't be doing that, change your location and get away from them. Find a place where you can be you, 150% you. So in conclusion, make a mess. Now, yes, clean it up. We have all made a mess in our lives, okay? And hear me, not a mess of our lives, that too. But you know what? When things are falling apart, they're falling apart to fall back together again in a new way. When you are having a breakdown, you are having a breakthrough. We just are not seeing it for what it is. Spirit has asked us to grow and move. And we have said, I don't wanna. So we feel that pull on our spirit. What we need to do is go, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I'm going to be okay with this. It's going to look messy for a while. But be okay in your messes. And clean them up when you're done. And so it is. So it's time for us to follow our teaching and go within. Let's take a moment and remember who we are. Yeah, can you bring the lights down just a little bit? Just breathing in and remembering whatever your connection is, whatever you believe the energy of creation is to you, call it source energy, great spirit, goddess energy, Jesus the Christ energy, whatever is your belief, remember what that is for right now. Just for a second, remember what your connection is to to the all that is. There's no right or wrong or good or bad. There just is. So I remind myself of what I know the universe to be. It is this safe place to express, to risk our worst and to be our best, to see ourselves in the stars, to remember who we are as we look at the massive ocean and allow it to become us. Feeling the sand between our toes and the wind on our face. We are part of something huge. And I know that each one of us has come to this plane of existence for a reason. And as we move closer to that reason in this moment, as it starts to filter forward and bubble up, we begin to remember who we are. And as we remember who we are, the reason for us being becomes evident. Life leaves clues. For I know the universe is shouting at us from all corners, directing us for our next greatest yet to be. And as we begin to listen to those whispers and follow our heart into the creative genius that we are, something wonderful begins to happen. And we begin to be in alignment with why we are here. And there is nothing more powerful than a mind that has made up its mind to be, do, or have something. And I know that is happening right now for each one of us. As we turn away from whatever the challenges are in life, not to deny them, but not to give them any more power, we turn into what we believe God is to us individually and collectively. And as we turn into that, we literally turn into that. This is how the law works. We are so grateful that we know the way it works, and we allow it to work in our lives in a way that brings healing, brings connection, that brings exactly whatever is needed for our next step. Our next obvious indicated step is made, revealed to us in a way that we can identify right now. And we take the helm and we play. Yes, we play. We are here to have fun and be in joy. Enjoy our lives. How good it is to know that something wonderful is guiding, guarding, directing, and protecting us. And as we allow that energy to remember who we are it in form. How good it is to know that we know that we know. My heart overflows with the love of the universe, the fountainhead who's within each one of us. And we give great thanks for this. Letting go completely as we release this word directly into that living, loving law of mind where we know it is already done. It is already complete. You have arrived. Now is the time. Let us affirm this together by saying, and so it is. Amen.